All right, so today we're going to do something a little different. We're not just going to look at the news, we're going to tear it apart. We're taking one single wrestling news report, just one, and using it to show you the hidden playbook, the architecture, really, that modern media uses to turn casual viewers into a super loyal tribe. So yeah, let's pull back that curtain.
Okay, let's dive right in. The whole thing kicks off with this line. And it sounds so simple, right? But this isn't just a friendly hello. It is a seriously powerful hook. It's not just saying, hey, here's some news. It's making you a promise right out of the gate. That one word, massive. It just cranks up the expectations, gets you excited. Before you've even heard a single fact, the host is basically screaming, hey, stop scrolling. This is the good stuff. This is worth your time. And that, right there, is the heart of what we're digging into today. This is so much more than a list of updates. It's a performance. It's all been carefully put together to get you, the viewer, as engaged as possible. So, that's our job. We're going behind the curtain to look at the how and the why of it all, not just the what.
So here's how we're going to break this down. We've got 5 key parts. First, we'll look at that all-important hook. Then, we'll see how they take this huge global story and make it easy to follow. After that, we'll get into the insider language they use, then how they build up anticipation for what's next, and finally, we'll look at that crucial call to action that actually builds the community. Simple enough, right? Let's go.
All right, first up, the hook. You know how it is. In this crazy attention economy we live in, those first few seconds are everything. So what does this script do to make sure you stick around and don't just click away? So they hit you with this. And a phrase like buckle up, it's so much more than just a way to get to the next topic. It's a direct command, it pulls you right in. Suddenly you feel like you're on this shared, fast-paced ride. It completely reframes the news. It's not a lecture anymore, it's an adventure, and you're on it together. It's this active, almost physical invitation to really pay attention. Okay, on to our second point, structure. Let's be real. The world of wrestling news is, well, it's chaotic. You've got different companies, different continents, stories breaking all over the place. So how on earth do you present all that in a way that people can actually follow without their heads exploding? Well, this is how. The strategy is actually pretty brilliant in its simplicity. By breaking the news down, promotion by promotion, first WWE, then AEW, then NXT, and so on, the script creates these really clear, distinct chapters. It's like having a filing cabinet for your brain. It lets you process all the WWE stuff, file it away, and then move on to the next thing. It takes what could be a total flood of information and turns it into this nice, neat, logical flow. Next up, let's talk about language. Because every strong community, every tribe has its own shorthand, right? Its own jargon. And using that language, man, that's such a powerful way to create a feeling of belonging, that sense of we're all in this together.
Take a word like Perusu, for example. Now, if you're not in the know, that's just some word you don't recognize. But for the target audience, it's a super specific, meaningful term. It's a signal. It says, we get it. Let's see how they actually use it.
And this is where the magic really happens. Did you notice how the host doesn't stop to explain what Puroresu means? That is totally intentional. By just dropping the term in there confidently, they're sending a powerful message to the core fans. It's like saying, hey, you and I, we're on the same page. I don't need to explain this to you. It makes the viewer feel smart, it validates their knowledge, and it makes them feel even more like a true insider. Here's another great example. They don't just say companies are trying to sign David Finlay. No, they call it the David Finlay sweepstakes. See what that does? It totally reframes a boring business deal into this dramatic, high-stakes race. A dry, backstage process suddenly becomes a spectator sport, and that is way more exciting to listen to, isn't it?
But it's not just about the cool insider jargon. The host also does something really clever. They borrow authority. By name-dropping sources like Dave Meltzer or Fightful Select, the whole report starts to feel more like real journalism. And it's not just about being credible. It's about borrowing the trust that those sources have already built up over years. It makes the whole thing feel less like random gossip and more like a serious, well-researched briefing.
Okay, so a good news report tells you what happened. But a great one makes you care, and care deeply about what's going to happen next. And that, my friends, is the art of building anticipation. Just look at how they frame this upcoming WrestleMania match. It's not just Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. No way. It's presented as this epic story, a clash of titans, the tribal chief versus the best in the world. They call it a generational clash. Language like that just elevates it from a simple match into this huge historical moment. It gives it so much more weight, so much more emotional stake for the audience. And then the script connects all the dots for you. It lays out this perfect story arc. It shows you the clear path. First, the Royal Rumble win, then the big challenge on Raw, all leading step by step to this massive main event. It makes the future feel like the perfect ending to a story you've been following the whole time. It just feels right.
Now, this next one might be the most subtle trick in the whole playbook. The host talks about a potential match, but they make it clear it's not 100% locked in yet. You see what they're doing? They're planting a seed of speculation. This gives the community something to talk about, to debate, to dream about for weeks, maybe even months. They're literally creating engagement out of thin air, out of pure possibility.
And that brings us to the end, the outro. But the goal here isn't just to say goodbye. The real goal is to keep the conversation going, to turn you from someone who's just watching into someone who's part of an active community conversation. And yeah, of course, it starts with the usual stuff. Like and subscribe. That's just the basic price of admission on the platform, right? But the really good community builders, they always go one step further. And here it is. This is the masterstroke right here, the question of the day. This isn't just a nice way to sign off. It's a direct order to engage. It takes the biggest story they just talked about, frames it as a simple choice, this guy or that guy, and basically dares you to pick a side and argue for it in the comments. It's the little spark that lights the giant community bonfire. So when you put it all together, that urgent hook at the beginning, the super clear structure, the insider lingo, the way they build up what's coming next, and that killer call to action at the end, you start to see it, right? It's not just a news report, it's a blueprint. It's a formula for grabbing your attention and building a community around it, which kind of leaves us with one final question to think about. As you go through your day, just look at the other stuff you watch and listen to. Are you seeing this formula pop up anywhere else? Because in a world with endless content, you have to wonder, is this the new way a modern tribe gets built?